Hello, this is Sudarshana Starshine Star. Thank you guys for being here with me. I just feel to put this little blurb out there from a wonderful post that I just saw earlier today from someone called Mr. Pool 2.0 on TikTok. Today is Friday, May 31st, 2024, and I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. I'm just reading what Mr. Pool 2.0 put up in this TikTok post. It doesn't have a lot of explanation. It's just showing fact, 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 fact. So if you don't know about this, it's up to you to look into this further for yourself. I just think it's really good to put this out there. And while I did repost it, I'm going to read this to try to get people to, as many people as possible, to look at this, hoping it will answer some questions about what went on in the New York City courtroom with President Trump yesterday, what that really means, what's really going on underneath the surface, all that good stuff. So I'm going to put this on my TikTok, which is Mahakali Yeshua 9, or the username is StarshineStar909. It's going on my main YouTube channel, which is called It's the Dazzling of the Light. Or just go to YouTube and type in at Sudarshana Starshine Star to access my clips there. Okay, once again, Mr. Pool 2.0 on TikTok. Here's what this poster wrote. Your thoughts on, oops, you know what I just remembered? I always like to start off my clips with the three opening prayers to bless and sanctify and protect you, me, and this clip. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. They're very short. They're in Telugu and Sanskrit. And it's the Guru Mantra, the Ganesha Mantra, and the Gayatri Mantra. Om, 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 Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam, Tasmahi Sri Guruvena Namaha. Om Suklam Bharataram Vishnum Sishivarnam Chatobhujam Prasanavaranam Dhyaye Sarva Vigno Prashante Om Bhuvasuvaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhago Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. All right. Now it's time for the post. All right. Your thoughts on this, folks. Americans have been watching a massive controlled military operation who strategically and critically planned and successfully trapped the Washington establishment, made them all confess their crimes and play a role in this operation piece by piece. As Americans have had to visually see and witness a, quote, continuation of government, end quote, in the form of a, quote, presidential administration, end quote, where these corrupt and evil people will have and will continue to destroy their system from within, spend all of their dirty money doing so until it's time for the military to visually step in. Now, I'm going to interrupt this post from Mr. Poole here to say, note the word visually, because we have been under a COG, a COG, a continuity of government, since January 20th, 2021. The military in the United States of America was formed well before we became the United States of America. In times of war, when this country is being attacked, the military has the right and the established power to step in, and they take control. And the military law supersedes all law. Military court supersedes all courts, all civilian courts. They have been, and we have been under kind of martial law, even though it's been under the radar since that time. There's been an incredible cleanup going on at the time. And it's only because the military decided, especially under CIC, that's Commander-in-Chief Donald J. Trump, to allow a portion of this to happen. So Biden, there's no real Joseph Robinette Biden. There hasn't been since fall of 2020. He was vice president, yes. He was a senator for 30 years, yes. He was one of the most corrupt, satanic filthy pedophiles around. His family is a crime family, just like you'd see in The Godfather. But he was arrested by the military, had his military tribunal, and was found guilty of crimes against humanity. That's for all the pedophilia and the raping and the adrenochrome and all of that stuff, as well as treason. Those are capital crimes, and those are death sentences. So what we then saw being put up in late fall of 2020 was a clone of Joe Biden, who was then executed in December of 2020. Then after that, it was a few more clones. And when those were handled in 2021 by the military, it's crazy that there has to be so many execution of clones, but it's something that more people are just going to have to face up to. Do some research into it, and you'll find out. Then what we see as what I call JoJo was just a bunch of actors. They're doubles with very incredible face masks, very hard to detect silicone face masks with voice box technology. And now for a long time, it's just been CGI. It's just green screen, which has been shown over and over again. When you see JoJo put his hand through supposed microphones at a press conference, his hand goes right through them, or all kinds of things that the white hats are trying to show you that JoJo is CGI, trying to wake people up so they start to question things instead of just going along with the mainstream media brainwash, telling you how it is. Okay, let me go back to Mr. Poole's post. So where he says, until it's time for the military to visually step in. And then he puts, the timelines all add up and prove the military operation and occupancy. Number 1, Snake poem read by candidate Donald John Trump, January 2016. Number 2, 2016 presidential election, November 2016. Number 3, President-elect Trump and Putin on Fox News. Quote, ready for reset, end quote. I will work with Trump, November 9, 2016. Number 4, Law of War Manual, military occupancy and negotiations, etc., in December 2016. I'm going to interrupt Mr. Poole 2.0's post here again to say that in 2015, the United States official Law of War Manual was revised. Just so happened it was revised and published, put out there just a few days before Donald John Trump rode down that escalator with Melania Trump to announce his candidacy for United States president. Okay, interesting timing. Number 5, Military Justice Act. Supreme Court clarifying military law is separate than civil law. Heavy emphasis on military tribunal terms in 2016. Number 6, military stands behind CIC, that's Commander-in-Chief, Trump, military intelligence and JAG headbands, optics. I have to interrupt this again. This was referring to what we saw in the President Trump's inauguration when he was standing, which no other president has had this before. He was standing and flanking him, the military officers flanking him. You could see in their headbands, they were wearing JAG headbands across their military caps. JAG, J-A-G is Judge Advocate General. They were showing who stands with him. President Trump had 800 generals who were white hat. As maybe most of you don't know, I've talked about this before. I'll just insert this here. At the time in the beginning, before the cleanup, the United States military had about a 30% corruption and infiltration of satanic forces. About 30%, maybe a little bit over, were dark force, satanic, working against we the people, very brainwashed and crazy under their satanic leaders. And the rest were what we would consider normal military, the kind that support we the people and fight for we the people when we the people are being attacked. But at that time, President Trump had 800 solid generals standing with him to implement this plan. And what the plan is cleaning up the cesspool and the swamp in Washington, D.C., cleaning up all of America. And of course, it extends to the rest of the world because this is far-reaching. It's not just about America. It's not about just about make America great again. It's about make this earth realm great again and cleaned of these satanics, of these evils, of this dark force, of this terribleness, of this satanic bloodline elite ruling pedophile pedivore sickness that has really infiltrated so much. Okay, back to this post. All right, so I got to number 6. Military stands behind CIC, Commander-in-Chief Trump, military intelligence and JAG headbands, optics, at inauguration January 2017. Number 7. Saudi Arabia crowns Trump king, May 217. I'm going to interject here again and ask how many of you watched. It was a televised. You can see that even to this day, don't use Google, don't use Wikipedia, use Brave or Bing browser. Go on DuckDuckGo. Go on BitChute, BITCHUTE. Go on Rumble.com. Look in these areas. Go on YouTube even, see if you can pull it up. The Saudis gave President Trump a very lengthy sword dance. They only do that to the king. That's only given to the king. All right? Okay, number 8. Declares Jerusalem capital of Israel in December 2017. Number 9, Executive Order 13818 declares national emergency to deal with human rights abuse, December 2017. Now, what I want to say was Executive Order of President Trump 13818 is so important because that executive order declares flatly that any person or entity or corporation or company or business or anyone who is caught with crimes, doing crimes against humanity or treason will have all of their assets and property and monies and everything confiscated. So if you are a pedophile, if you're a pedivore, if you are doing child sex trafficking, if you are doing all these hideous practices, if you are engaging in the adrenochrome and chromochrome distribution or you're partaking of it, all of these things, if you're betraying your country, these are all capital crimes, and all of your monies, anyone who's participating in that, all media, all Amazon, all Wayfair, all tech companies, all AT&T, all these big companies who were caught, you have no idea of how wealthy the U.S. National Treasury really is. And the quote, JoJo administration that's being cleaned up cannot dip their fingers into it, which is why they're so desperate and always keep trying to pass these laws to get the U.S. taxpayer money to funnel toward Ukraine, because then they just pick it right up out of Ukraine and just put it in their pockets. All right, back to the post. Number 10, CIC, Commander-in-Chief, Trump walks in front of Queen, July 14th, 2018. Now that was where President Trump didn't actually walk in front of Queen Elizabeth when he did his world tour in 2018. If you watch that clip carefully, you can see she motions to allow him to walk in front of her. She has already surrendered. He went around every country that he went to. President Trump brought all the evidence showing all their pedophile crimes, all their stealing, all their raping of children, and much worse, everything that they've done. And it was all not on digital, on analog. All the filmings, all the recordings, everything was provable, and he brought it. That's what he did when he went to all these European countries. That's what he did when he went to the Vatican. That's what you see in that year. They were all surrendering and submitting to President Trump what happened, let me just say this briefly. When he went to London, when this part that's being referred to here, when you see the Queen of England walking behind President Trump, all right, at Buckingham Palace, he went to Westminster. In Westminster Abbey, there's this very old, large book there that holds documents, and in it had the recording in the original document, which was still to that day, they called the city of London called the United States of America still the Virginia colonies, as it had been called when it was first colonized by city of London. He knew that the British royals, like Elizabeth, who's supposedly Queen Elizabeth Windsor, that's an assumed name. For those of you that can do a little research, you find out that in the early 1900s, the Saxe, Coburg und Gotha, that is the real German last name of Elizabeth, who called herself Windsor, They changed their name to Windsor because they didn't want to get the flack from that was coming towards the German NAZI' in the upcoming World War One. And they, like most of the Khazarian mafia, changes their name all throughout history. They do this a lot. It makes it hard to track who they are, and you don't know who you're really dealing with. But even as Prince Charles, when he was still alive, proudly proclaimed that he and his family, they were living descendants of Vlad the Impaler. Yes, what you call Count Dracula, of Transylvania. There was a real historical being, Vlad the Impaler, who's legitimately bloodline connected to that Saxe-Coburg-und-Gotha family. So they were all frauds, and they all, in the 1600s, all the European royal houses just about were infiltrated by imposters, by satanics, by dark force that took over like a terrible virus and inserted themselves into all of these seats of power. So when President Trump was in London as part of his world tour in 2018, when he signed his name in that large book in Westminster Abbey and took back the ownership of the Virginia colonies, he was acting as exchequer, not only of America, but of this earth realm. And I super don't care if people want to scoff at that. They need to look into things and they need to do research. It's proven, it's provable, it's not hearsay, it's not opinion. He was operating in that. And of course, he's not operating alone. He has a very large team with him that's worldwide, that's global. They're all together working in what is called the White Hats. And it's not even just people on the earth realm. They're off-planet benevolent beings that are very much working with humans and with President Trump as the commander-in-chief and the White Hats all over this earth realm. It is a huge cleanup operation. And I'm sorry that people want to scoff at that. I feel sorry for them. If you don't know by this time and you're not willing to look into it, well, that's on you, really. All right, now I'm going to go to number 11. Putin hands CIC, Commander-in-Chief Trump, soccer ball. The ball is in your court. Did not participate in 2022 World Cup. And that's from January 16th, 2018. And what I need to interject here is that the authentic original Vladimir Putin was a terrible sociopath, maybe psychotic, very terrible being who the Russian people themselves got sick of and had put him on trial and had him executed. I showed this years ago when I had the photos of him behind bars, and I put it all out on my social media, and people didn't even want to look at it. They didn't care. It's so obvious if you just compare pictures go back to just go back to 11 years ago, whatever. Look at pictures of Vladimir Putin and then the Putin that you see now. Just put them side by side. They're vastly different. There was an actor, a double, who then stepped up to be Vladimir Putin. The original Putin's wife even publicly said, it was not a secret, "This is not my husband," and she refused to allow him in her bed in her home, and she divorced him. So go back and look up to see when Vladimir Putin divorced his first wife, or rather she divorced him, and you'll see that's the timing when the actor, the double face mask, Vladimir Putin, stepped in to assume the role of Vladimir Putin. And it is an actor. And if you notice that things changed dramatically after that. I'm sorry if you're really brainwashed by the mainstream media and you believe that Vladimir Putin is, dark force, whatever. He's not. He's working with the White Hats. He's working to help liberate not only Russia of this satanic hideousness, but helping the White Hats to help the whole world. And he's not a bad guy, but there's more to the story of this double Vladimir Putin that I don't have time to go into on this clips. But I'm just saying, when you see this here in this handing the soccer ball, he is participating and working behind the scenes with the White Hats to clear out all of the hideousness, like the hideousness that was entrenched in Ukraine in 2014 when the not neo-Nazis, the actual real Nazis that had been there for so long, inserted themselves into the Ukrainian government by throwing elections. What a great surprise. And the evils in the world had decided on Ukraine to be one of their main hotspots. It was to be called the United States of Ukraine, which if you're an American seeing what's happened in our Congress in the past few years, you can believe. That was their hotspot of child sex trafficking, human trafficking, drugs, the biolabs producing the terrible bioweapons, the underground, the huge tunnel systems, armaments, everything. So Vladimir Putin is not the aggressor in that. He is helping to clean out that from Ukraine. And it is the real NAZ'(S) in Ukraine that are fighting the Russians. And people that know that region also know that Ukraine actually never had a border. It was never drawn around establishing it as a border. Most people that are in the Ukraine region are actually Russian and consider themselves Russian. But there's been a terrible thing that happened to the Ukrainian people by these dark forces who took them over. And Ukraine is a very incredible, prosperous breadbasket and has incredible resources and is very valuable and very desirable. And they took it over. And so it's this huge lie that unfortunately so many people in my country, in America, when they say stand for Ukraine, they're not talking about the Ukrainian people. They think they're, let's against Putin and bad Russia and whatever. They're actually standing for the bad guys. Now, I fully agree in standing for the Ukrainian people. They have been so used and abused, and I just really pray every day for that whole situation to calm down and dissipate and to have peace in that area, along with the bad guys getting wiped out. Okay, back to this post. Number 12, Executive Order 13848 in September 2018. Number 13, Commander-in-Chief Trump makes history, walks into North Korea, June 2019. 14, National Quantum Initiative, Executive Order 13885 on August 2019. Number 15, Space Force established as military branch, December 2019. Number 16, Corona SARS virus first mentioned to American public as a threat from CHINA in February 2020. Number 17, 2 more national emergencies declared, March 13th and 27th, 2020. Number 18, Executive Order 13912, federalizing 1 million National Guard to active duty status. That was March 27, 2020. 19, Commander-in-Chief Trump, quote, an attack worse than Pearl Harbor and 9/11 combined. That's what he called the COVID-19 attack. That was in May 2020. Now, number 20, National Guard troops place fence around Capitol building, 47 U.S. Code 606 in January 2021. 21, Commander-in-Chief Trump receives full-grade constitutional by law and military-grade inauguration ceremony on January 20th, 2021. 22, in quotes, Joe Biden, because we know that's not Joe Biden, it's JoJo. Anyway, the fake Biden breaks 20th Amendment amongst many other violations on January 20th, 2021. 23, aircrafts constantly over and through 33-mile no-fly zone radius above D.C., January 2021 to present day. Geez, wonder why that's happening. Could it be that all the military planes with different call signs from all over the world are helping in the cleanup? Yep. Number 24, quote, Biden, I call him JoJo, extends Executive Order 13848 for the first time, September 2021. Now, why would, quote unquote, Joe Biden be extending President Trump's executive orders? Okay, number 25, Quantum Gov launched, September 2021. 26, New York Times reports in December 2021 that the military tribunals are coming mid-2023. 27, Army and branches transfer all communications to Space Force under one command. Quote unquote, Biden, JoJo, never mentioned the Space Force, not once. 0 news articles with his name tied to Space Force. And that's from August 2022. Number 28, major optics and comms in Commander-in-Chief Trump's speech on November 15th, 2022. Number 29, more news articles establishing Space Force command centers with zero mention of Biden, Jojo, in December 2022. Those few timelines and timestamps do nothing but prove a military operation and occupancy, along with the many more laws, codes, orders, statutes, acts, optics, and comms. The National Guard has been out of their state military status and operating as active duty status every day since they were federalized in March 2020. There's more than enough documentation and proof to show not only the National Guard, but also thousands of World Alliance aircrafts in and out of the United States and National Guard bases. There's United States Coast Guard with United States Navy and their stations. USCG is Department of Homeland Security during peacetime, and transferred to the Department of the Navy during wartime. The Brunson versus Adams case simply states the obvious. Congress violated the Constitution. Okay, that's the end of this post and all my remarks in between it from Mr. Pool 2.0 on TikTok. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, whichever platform you're watching this on. I really appreciate that. And chin up. There's so much good coming. There's so much good happening now. And there's so much good incoming. The best truly is yet to come, not only for America, but for this whole earth. All right. I'm going to end this with a short closing prayer. What I'm saying is God bless all beings in all worlds. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yes, peace, peace, peace. When all this cleanup and this war against the darkness and the evil is completed with victory to the light, victory to the goodly and godly, victory to we the people of this earth, we will have peace, peace, peace. And we can start having inner peace right now. We don't have to wait for ceasefire externally. Have your internal ceasefire, claim your inner peace, claim your equanimity. You can do that through daily meditation, being in nature, going in the silence, resting enough, treating yourself well, spending time with your family, your loved ones, your animals, getting out, hiking, swimming, whatever. Just take care. Take very good care. And thank you for being here with me. God bless you and yours, and I will see you when I see you. Bye for now.